The sound of rain echoes off of the tin roof of the shed. He lifts the 2.5-gallon jerry can to the workbench. He pours the gas into a metal pot as he adds shavings of thermite. He mixes his flammable concoction together. He lifts his head as he hears a howl, followed by another and another. Fuck, they're grouping up. He pours his concoction into glass bottles, filling each bottle 3/4 of the way full. Then he adds alcohol-soaked rags to each, sealing them at the rim. He looks to the left as Erin comes through the door of the shed. Rich, we saw two heading towards the north, up the mountain. I'm almost done, O'Neill says as he places each one of his creations into his pack. He grabs his M4A1 from against the workbench and slings his pack over his shoulder. Let's go, woman. Erin and O'Neill head out of the shed, jump the stockade fence, and head towards the sheriff's station on the east side of town. Erin and O'Neill stop on the corner of the grocery store. Shh. Erin motions with her finger against her lips to O'Neill. As she peeks around the concrete wall, she quickly moves her head back. Erin lifts her hand and motions to move. The two quickly jog across the street, scanning their surroundings, weapons raised. While the two head towards the sheriff's station, Erin reflects on their time here. It's been 38 days since the duo arrived in this small mountain town. They've made friends and enemies, due to the ever-present threat of being pounced on and devoured by a pack of ferocious dogmen. The town has split. There's some that blame Erin and O'Neill for bringing this menace to their streets, constantly fighting with their fellow townsfolk, hoping they can remove O'Neill and Erin from their town by any means, to eliminate the dogman threat. The 4 men responsible for this are the Sicmoor brothers. They've never left this small town in the middle of nowhere and have been known as the degenerates of this area. Unfortunately for them, O'Neill is a degenerate himself with a military background. The one they called Jin found out the hard way during the town meeting after the first attack. O'Neill tossed him over his shoulder like a training dummy. As for the attack, well, it was quick. They weren't prepared at all. Figure that's what happens when you're dealing with an apex predator. It was the 3rd night. A light fog crept through the town. Jack the cook, over at Francine's Paradise, was walking to his car. Suddenly, a low growl came from the fog. Jack looks in the direction of the noise. He hears the unmistakable sound of sharp claws clanking against asphalt. He sprints towards the diner. O'Neill sees Jack running, a huge silhouette coming through the fog behind him. O'Neill dashed towards the door, flinging it open so hard the glass almost shatters. Jack reaches out for O'Neill as a 7-foot gray dogman slams into Jack from his right side. A slight scream escapes Jack's lips. O'Neill pulls his sidearm, taking aim at the silhouette in front of him. Deep, guttural growls coming from all around him. Erin yells from the entrance of the diner. "Rich, get back here now!" O'Neill slowly backs up towards Erin's voice as they close the diner's door. O'Neill and Erin look in horror as multiple sets of different colored eyes appear in the fog. Those icy blue eyes appear. Erin snaps out of her thoughts as O'Neill pounds his fist against the metal emergency door at the back of the sheriff's station. "Joe, it's us," O'Neill says as he continues pounding on the door. The door flies open. A man in his early 30s standing on the other side of the door, a tactical shotgun in his hands.
"Took you too long enough,"
Joe says. O'Neill and Erin enter the door. "Shut it, asshat. You know how meticulous Rich is when it comes to his concoctions," Erin exclaims with a hint of sarcasm in her voice. "Hey, if you want things done half-assed, we can hit up them boys on the other side of town," O'Neill counters.
Jin and his band of dumbasses? No fucking way. Plus, they're more likely to shoot at us than to help us,
says Joe.
Joey, are those two back yet?
A grumbly voice yells from down the hall.
Yes, Sheriff.
Good. Bring 'em in here, will you?
How are you doing there, Sheriff? O'Neill says, as he walks through the doorway into the main room. In the room was an older gentleman, Sheriff Parker. Parker is a veteran of the U.S. Navy SEALs. He moved out to this mountain town after his time in the service. He served as deputy to Sheriff Hodges until his untimely demise at the hands of Jacob Sicmoor, the uncle of the bastards down the way. Parker put 3 9mm hollow points in the skull of that sadistic prick 4 years after Jacob had killed Sheriff Hodges.
How the fuck you think I'm doing, son? Those fucking things have been getting more and more aggressive ever since that one son of a bitch came here chasing after you two.
Parker said. I know, Sheriff. We've apologized for the unfortunate turn of events, O'Neill started to say.
Shut it!
Parker said as he stood up from his chair, pointing his finger at O'Neill.
I don't want to hear your fucking apologies.
No reasons for apologies, Rich.
Joe interjected.
We've had our own issues with these creatures for years now. The sheriff is right, though. They've definitely become more aggressive over the past month. You used to see them while you were hunting in the woods, or late at night going through the dumpsters. Rarely would you get a call about one of them tapping on someone's window. They would take cats and dogs. One attack happened because one of the Sicmoor's goons took a shot at one of them.
Fucking idiot, Erin said.
We've had 30 attacks in 38 days, with 14 being fatal due to injuries and 10 of the people we haven't even found,
said Parker.
They're more coordinated in their attacks. And that one son of a bitch with those bright blue eyes. Holy fuck, O'Neill. That one there is something different.
I'm well aware. That's the one that followed us here. We have something of a history, I guess you can say, O'Neill said, as he took the bottle of water Erin had pulled from the mini-fridge. Suddenly, automatic gunfire erupts from the northwest. Fuck, Erin said. Is Gary, Hope, and Mike back from patrol?
Not yet,
responds Joe. O'Neill clicks the button on his mic. P-20, this is 2-0 Alpha. What's your status?
2-0 Alpha. This is P-20. Contact with the Sicmoor crew. 1 down. I repeat, 1 down.
Automatic gunfire continues. P-20, seek cover and retreat back to the house. Now. Blood's going to bring in the wolves.
2-0 Alpha. We're pinned down. No! Hope!
The sound of 556 comes through the radio. Fuck, O'Neill says as he slams his fist into the desk.
We won't get there in time,
said Joe. Fuck that, said Erin. Rich, let's go. We can get close enough to give them cover to fall back to safety.
What the fuck are you two waiting for? Get going. Now!
Parker yells. The sound of gunfire echoes through the forest. He lifts his head, his ears twitching at the sounds of the distant gunfire, and screams. He stands to his full 8-foot height, the wind blowing into his nose. He smells the sweet smell of blood. A grin forms on his face. He makes a low grunt, which gets the attention of the golden-furred Dogman as it rips the flesh from a deer's leg. The golden Dogman stands to all fours and shakes his head. Blood falls from his face. He grunts and moves his head towards the sound of the gunfire. The golden Dogman bursts through the forest. He lets out a bellowing howl, then follows the golden Dogman. He moves through the trees with unnatural speed and silence. The smell of blood getting stronger and stronger. He leaps and lands on top of a house on the edge of the town. He breathes in deep through his nose, the smell of fear and death in the air. He sees 2 humans laid lifeless on the ground, blood pooling around their bodies. He looks to his left. The Golden One moves silently through the shadows. Screams cut through the air, followed by the roar of his kind. He climbs to the top of the concrete building in front of him for a better view. As he climbs, the sound of gunshots ring in his ears. He bounds to the top of the building and sees two humans running his way. Suddenly, the Golden One appears. Crimson liquid covering his golden fur, he smiles at the sight of his companion. "What's that?" He hears a noise, then a voice, another noise, followed by another voice. His icy blue eyes narrow as he scans the surrounding area. His ear twitched at the sound. Thump, thump, a heartbeat. He lets out a low growl as he moves towards the sound. He sniffs deeply. The aroma of human. He has come to enjoy the smell, considering they've provided him and his kind with hearty meals. He grunts, then again and again, singling to the Golden One. Suddenly, a zip past his ear. He growls and looks up. Another followed by a crack. Pieces of concrete hit the side of his head. He looks towards the direction of the sound. There, he sees two humans, flashes from their weapons. He leaps off of the roof, digging his claws into the exterior of the building as he slides down, narrowly avoiding the fiery lead. With a solid thump, he lands on the ground and drops down to all fours and sprints for the cover of the surrounding trees. He looks at the humans just before entering the tree line. Gunfire followed by the sounds of screams, then more gunfire. He snaps his massive head towards the sounds. He lets out a drawn-out howl. His icy blue eyes narrow at the sight of the Golden One lying motionless on the ground. He looks towards the humans. He sees the smoke coming up from the barrels of their guns. He looks back at his friend's corpse. Movement. A human, covered in blood. He's running towards the other humans. He lets out a roar as he bursts from the tree line in pursuit of his prey. His eyes focused on the human fleeing for his miserable life. The human lifts a gun and shoots at him without looking. He growls as the bullets impact a burnt-out machine to his right. He slams into the human with all his might, sinking his fangs into its neck, chest, and back as he grabs the human with his long claws, holding it in place while he quickly turns his massive jaws. Flesh rips away from the human, blood pouring from his maw. He drops the other half of the human to the ground as he flings the human's head and part of the torso through the air. Blood, intestines, and a kidney make a wet splash as they hit the ground beneath him. He throws back his head and howls in victory. Automatic gunfire erupts. He can feel the heat as the bullets fly past him. In one motion, he drops to all four and grabs the torso of the human in his jaws and sprints back to the trees. A grin crosses his face as he moves through the trees and up the mountain. Howls of the other dogmen can be heard echoing through the surrounding trees and mountains around the town. "Motherfucker," O'Neill screams as Erin loses her breakfast. "Damn it," O'Neill says as his eyes focus on the carnage that just took place. Tears filled his eyes.
2-0 Alpha, this is House. Respond.
The call comes over the walkie again.
2-0 Alpha, this is House. Respond. Fucking respond. 2-0 Alpha. God damn it.
"Rich, are you okay?" "Snap out of it," Erin said. O'Neill continues staring as images flash through his mind over and over of the events that just unfolded. Erin grabs the mic from O'Neill's vest. "House, this is 2-0 Alpha. 3 downed, 2 killed by the Sicmoors, and the other torn apart.
Fuck, are you alright?
House, Yes, we're good. O'Neill looks up at Erin and grabs the mic from her. No, we are not good. This bastard just tore Gary in half and ran off with part of his body. The only good news is that one of them took out a handful of the Sicmoor crew, and we took it down.
O'Neill, grab whatever you can from the bodies and get back here.
Copy that. Scavenger, this is 2-0 Alpha. We need to clean up 5 miles northwest of the house. 1 wolf, at least 3 friendlies, and an unknown number of hostiles. Over. The voice of a young woman answers back. 2-0 Alpha, this is Scavenger. Copy that. We will get a crew together and head out. O'Neill and Erin scavenge the area for whatever they can carry. They gather ammunition, firearms, food and water from the packs and belts of their friends, then head back to the sheriff's station.